Hello, this is Joe with Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Hey, good evening, and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all the most important things that are happening in the world of live fire, barbecue, and grilling. This show originates from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you'd like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, you would typically find a monthly opening segment from our pal over at How to BBQ Right, the pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team, Malcom Reed. However, he is unavailable this evening. However, the best news ever, filling in for Malcom Reed. Maybe you know her, Rachelle Reed, for the first time on the show. And unless I misread what Malcolm was writing me about a week ago through text message, first time Rachelle has appeared outside of the How to BBQ Right environment in its totality. So truly humbled that she has made time for the show this evening. So we will do a little normal stuff, and then we will do an abridged origin story of Rachelle Reed. We'll also talk about some holiday things that are going to be coming up. So whole first hour dedicated to Rachelle and her first visit here to the Barbecue Central Show. Then we'll move to the second hour where you will find quarterly guest and the last time for 2024 before he re-ups for 2025. Hopefully our pal over at Another Pint Please, Mike Lang, author of One Beer Grilling, which is still selling like hotcakes. So we'll talk to Mike about what he's been up to over the last 90 days, things that he's been working on in collaboration with Weber, all that fun stuff. Get some gift ideas that Mike has for the holiday season. Everybody's asking Mike, what should I be getting my live fire loved one this year in 2024? Do I have to get a wireless thermometer to be cool, or can I get something else? Mike will answer all those questions in their entirety, and without holding back one single reservation. So that's how the show's setting up here this evening. Two guests, but two big guests. Rachelle Reed, first hour. Mike Lang, second hour. And I'll fill in the rest as I see fit. Don't forget, you can follow me socially on Instagram and Twitter, TikTok, Snapper Snaps, and the LinkedIns, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. We, of course, say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms, which can be found at facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. You can also watch the show on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And if you're over at YouTube, we have a new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody watching through YouTube and all guests. Is Malcom Reed the most influential person in live fire today? And currently 78% of you are saying yes, Malcom is the most influential person in live fire today. In fact, it just bumped up by 2%. Now 80% of you are saying Malcom is indeed the most influential person in live fire today. I don't question that. I'm right along with the 80% of you that said that. Of course, I answered that question last week with the embedded correspondence when I brought that up. I think 3/5 of us agreed that Malcom Reed was the most influential person in live fire today, and it's continuing to rise now at 82%. The only question that I have for the poo-pooers, who's more influential? Write it in, text it in, Facebook it in. We got some live chat here, so a live chat rolling here tonight, so would love to get your feedback on who is more influential than our pal Malcom Reed, but happy to see it as we've ticked up another percentage point. Now 2 more percentage points at 85%. It's turning into a boat race, but we'll see how it finishes through the rest of the evening here tonight. Results from the poll question last week: Susie Bullock is the most underrated live fire talent in the industry today, and 56% of you said no. I'll disagree, but that's fine.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk right here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live fire breaking news across the country. Nay, the globe. I'm going to mention this name, and I'm going to mention another name. The name over here, Weber. The name over here, Blackstone. What does that mean? That means we're going to take them both together, and boom, Weber and Blackstone products to combine. I didn't mean to do the buzzer there. That was all cheering. As mentioned, December 2nd, yesterday, Weber and Blackstone products today announced they have entered into a definitive agreement to combine their businesses. Terms of the transaction were not disclosed, but I've heard it on good authority. There are bags and bags of cash that are part of this. Weber recognized as an iconic global barbecue brand, 70-plus years. Blackstone, founded in 2008 by friend of show CEO Roger Daly, pioneering outdoor griddles. The combination will bring 2 iconic brands in outdoor cooking together, joining Weber's portfolio of grilling products with Blackstone's complementary griddle product lineup. In a quote, "We share Blackstone's customer-centric emphasis and deep commitment to continuous innovation." That's said by Chief Executive Officer of Weber, Alan Matula. Roger Daly said, and I quote, "We are thrilled to join with Weber and bring together 2 outdoor cooking industry innovators to create immense value for our customers and team members alike. With our complementary portfolios and similar cultures, I could not have imagined a better partner for Blackstone than Weber." Following the close of the transaction, Daly, Roger, our friend, will serve as CEO of the combined company. He will also maintain a significant equity stake in the combined company as well. At the same time, Matula will retire from the company, serving as CEO of Weber since 2002. Yeah, all the way back since 2002, Matula will now hit the bricks and retire from Weber at that point. Transaction expected to close early 2025, subject to regulatory clearance and other customary closing conditions. Until that time, Weber and Blackstone will continue to operate as separate independent companies. Upon completion of the transaction, the combined company will maintain a presence in both Palatine, Illinois, and Logan, Utah. That would be Weber and Blackstone, respectively. I continue to ask the question, what is going on in Utah that I don't know about? Traeger in Utah, Blackstone in Utah, Gosney Pizza in Utah, Rectech in Utah. The list goes on. Our pal Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah in Utah. Live fire is bubbling out there where it snows most of the time. Not that it doesn't snow most of the time here in Cleveland. I'm anxious to see how this all works out. Of course, I feverishly hit the keyboards, shot a message off to my close personal friend, CEO of Blackstone, Roger Daly. Said, can't wait to have you on so we can discuss all the particulars, including all the zeros at your bank account now. And he said, Bob McClurg's right. ThermalWorks, also in Utah. And he said, as soon as all the closing stuff is done and he gets the okay from whoever it is he gets an okay from, he's coming back on the show. So look for that, let's say, end of January, maybe in February. By the way, we do have a February. We have a first Tuesday in March with Michael Simon, who's releasing a new book as well. So we just got on the books. The big show continuing to be the really big barbecue show. By the way, thanks to Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com for the news tip on Weber and Blackstone getting together. All right, Rachelle Reed is ready to go. Before we get to her, we're talking about Schwank Grills. That's right. You would recall that the really great savings deal expired yesterday. But today I'm here with a great deal and all brand new. Purchasers of a Schwank Grill get a custom Christmas bundle now through Christmas. Hurry up. Don't wait. Don't be a procrastinator. What do you get when you get the Christmas bundle from Schwank? When you buy the grill, it now includes a free grill cover. Very nice. A pizza peel, a pizza stone, an apron if you wear those. Also a cutting board. The savings are immeasurable. The convenience is there. You're also now turning your really cool infrared grill into a infrared pizza oven. You know the bounce time is going to be incredibly quick. If you don't know about the Schwank Grill, this is infrared technology that's being used in some of the best commercial steakhouses available. Morton Steakhouse, Del Frisco's, Cut 432. Not using technology like Schwank Grills, using the Schwank Grill technology in this location. So if you've had a great steak there, you were wondering how I might be able to make one myself at home, this is how you do it easily and affordably. And remember, attaining a 1,500 degree temperature allows you to do that sear that everybody loves. We have many different levels. You can adjust the intensity by raising or lowering whatever it is you're cooking on the shelf. Very easy. Take advantage of that drip tray as well. You can make a nice board sauce. It's all heated. So many ways to enjoy it, and portable. And once again, the Christmas bundle includes a free grill cover, a pizza stone, a pizza peel, an apron, and a cutting board. No promo code needed. Just head on over to the website, SCHWANK, schwankgrills.com. We are back with Rachelle Reed for the first time ever in the world. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all the pellet-driven cookers in your life. You visit cookinpellets.com to see their products, and then when you're ready to purchase, go to Amazon.com or Walmart.com or Lowe's.com. Same great products, just great shipping rates to boot. It's great folks over at cookinpellets.com. Normally, as I mentioned in the open, this is where you see our pal Malcom Reed and I chopping it up about what's happening in the barbecue and grilling industry, but he is otherwise busy doing manly type things this month. But we already knew that. So he reminded me, as much last weekend and then gave me the best news I have gotten as it relates to the show in recent memory. Normally, when Malcolm is out, Mark Williams from Swine Life Barbecue sits in, which is always a treat on its own. But this time around, he said someone else has agreed to fill in, someone who I have chased for literally years to be a guest. But tonight, in the growing height of the holiday season, I have been given a gift that I will now open with all of you. So for the first time, we welcome the other side of How to Barbecue Right, Rachelle Reed. Rachelle, good evening.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
I am absolutely fabulous. I'm so excited to have you here for the first time. So let's do it the right way. YouTube poll question of the week, which I'm sure is going to be a little biased considering you're married to him. I'm asking everybody this, including all guests. Is Malcom Reed the most influential person in live fire today? Yes or no?
I've got to say yes.
Yes.
What do you think I'm going to say no?
83% of us are agreeing that Malcolm is the most influential. My question to everybody else is, if you say no, who's more influential? So somebody who has their finger on the pulse, like who else would you champion if we had to kick Malcolm to the curb?
I mean, right off the top of my head, I'm thinking Pittman, maybe.
Yeah.
Now you got me stumped. Heath is
Yep.
up in there.
He's right around you guys too, right? Heath Riles?
Yeah, real close. Practically neighbors.
Are you that close?
Yeah, we're one town apart.
Interesting. Well, let me bend down just for a second. That sounds weird in a vacuum. A gift that I never thought I was going to get. Number one, interview with Rachelle Reed. Number two, look at this thing. It is a condiment and topping warmer. Something you would find perhaps at a baseball game or some type of sporting event or a gas station that serves nachos. This is incredible.
Or your next party. Yeah. Look, it's the most impractical gift, but you're going to use it so much. And a jar of cheese costs you like $10, maybe less than that. So you show up to a party with that and a jug of cheese and some chips, you're going to be the star of the show.
Do you show up to parties with that in hand? Have you done that?
Heck yeah.
Wow.
Why would you not?
So aside from the cheese, it comes with a variety of placards, peanuts, peanut butter, fruit stuff, chili. I could see putting a little Skyline stuff or filling it up with some Skyline. Yep. But it's just cheese, basically, right?
It's just cheese.
Yeah. Wow.
I've never used it for anything else. So
well,
enjoy
now
that.
The Christmas parties that I show up to, they're going to get 6 pounds of cheese and 12 pounds of nachos. It's going to be great. So thank you very much for that. We're going to put it to good use. Malcolm mentioned last month he was going on a hunt for bison up in North Dakota. Is that where he is right now?
Yes. Actually, he's in Texas right now hunting axis deer.
Really? This guy's a
and
major league hunter.
He tries to be, yeah. But he's coming back in on Wednesday and then flying back out on Thursday to go to North Dakota to bison hunt.
If successful, he mentioned he could be hauling back in excess of 700 pounds of various bison meat cuts. Have you been busy recipe planning?
No.
No?
I'm going to let them have that. But they have been busy planning how they're going to get the meat back, how they're going to get it processed, what they're going to do with it. Because that's a lot of meat.
I mean, it's almost a half a ton, 300 pounds short of half a ton of meat, various cuts. And I've had bison steak before. There used to be a restaurant on the Far East Side from where I'm at that was known for some of the exotic cuts, ostrich, something or other, bison, whatnot. And I've never had a bad experience with it. I've had bison burgers before with some ground bison, lean, good flavor. So I think this isn't like a raccoon or something. A bear meat, I heard, is like real greasy and gamey. This might be a big win. Plus, it's 700 pounds. You could be eating for like 5 years.
Yeah, we're gonna be giving out a lot of bison meat. But I've always liked bison every time I've tried it. I've never tried ostrich though. How was that? Did you try that one?
I did because I had to, because anybody that worked there had to eat the game. So in case somebody stopped you on the sly and was like, oh, is this really good or whatever, you could at least give an honest opinion. It was probably 15 years ago. I don't remember being offended by it. I don't remember saying I got to figure out where I can get a line on ostrich meat to have at the ready. So one of those experience things more than anything else for me.
Yeah.
Have you had camel from Kevin?
We have it. We haven't cooked it and tried it. And I'm ready. I want to try it.
Yeah. Are you an adventurous eater?
I'm curious. Yeah. I'll try anything once, as long as it's prepared by somebody that, knows what they're doing somewhat.
Does Malcolm have an extensive background in preparing camel?
No.
So what's the plan for
He
that?
has extensive, yeah. I really don't know. He said he's going to watch some YouTube videos on it.
Of course, that's where we go for all information.
Yeah.
A few years back.
It'd make a cool TikTok, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. So a few years back, I do an origin story with Malcom Reed, but I don't know if there is an origin story of Rachelle Reed, at least of any consequence, that's currently available out there for people to get to know you a little bit more. So let's try and get one down for the history books and do an abridged origin story of Rachelle Reed. So first and foremost, where did you grow up?
Florence, Mississippi. It's a tiny little Mississippi town. Grew up there. When I graduated high school, I went to Mississippi State. Graduated there, and I knew a bunch of people living in Memphis, so I just said, hey, sounds good. Came to Memphis, had big plans, was not going to stay in Memphis very long, but then I met Malcolm. And we started dating, and we got married. And at the time, I had jobs in internet marketing, and I was doing all that like way back in the day when that was like all brand new. And when he kind of got laid off, we had this idea to start making barbecue videos. Well, first we had a website, and then we did a newsletter, and then somebody said, hey, video is going to be the next big thing. So we started making YouTube videos, and we had no idea what we were doing. And, it's kind of grown from there.
I'll dig into that a little bit more here, but just on you, as you're growing up, before you get into college, before you meet Malcolm, all this other stuff, what kind of cooking household are you growing up in, and are you a lone stir, or do you have brothers and sisters?
I have an older brother and a younger brother. And my household, my mother, I hate to say it, but she wasn't the best cook. My dad was a really good cook. My grandmothers and aunts were really great cooks. So that was kind of the cornerstone of, any family get together. My dad actually used to build barbecue grills. He was a welder, and he did it himself, and he would build these big kind of old drum barbecue grills, and every 4th of July, he'd cook a whole hog. It was kind of like something he got excited about and loved to do. So that might be kind of where I started getting a love for barbecue. And it was more the aspect of, feeding everybody and having half the town come over and do this big barbecue, and all the work we had to do to prepare to get ready for everybody to come over. So that's kind of where I started developing that.
Is the house like a teaching household as far as cooking is concerned? I have I'm certainly no Southerner, right? I'm a Yank, born in Elmira, New York, and stuff like that. But my mom, amazing cook, would have always. I'm sure she would have been happy to teach. I don't ever recall asking her to teach me how to do anything. Certainly, not from a young age, but certainly loved the way she cooked. Great cook. And didn't get into it until I was later, and I kind of had to do it to live. In the South, I have a perhaps stereotype that every kid is dragged into the kitchen, and mom or grandmother or both are like, hey, Rachelle, or hey, Malcolm, or hey, Waylon, you're going to learn how to make these biscuits. You're going to learn how to make this family dish, or you're going to learn how to do this because this is what we do down here. More stereotype, or is that more the norm?
I think if you're interested and you're sticking around the kitchen, they're going to show you. You need to learn this, and it's a big thing with, especially my family. They want to pass recipes down. They want somebody to continue to make these old family recipes even when they're gone. So that's a big thing with us. And there was a lot of, hey, we need help. You're getting in here and you're going to do the, you're going to chop some onions. You're going to butter these biscuits. You're going to do whatever needs to be done.
Is there
So it's both a little bit of a teaching and a little bit of putting us to work.
Is there a favorite family recipe that you are going to make sure that you pass down?
Chicken and dumplings. My grandmother showed me how to make chicken and dumplings, and I still make them, and I'm real proud of my chicken and dumpling recipe. So that's definitely one. There's a lot of like fudge recipes and candy making recipes that we associate with Christmas time, this time of year. And my other grandmother taught me how to make those. So I'm not nearly as good as she is. That's a lot of work. Candy making is some serious stuff. So
what kind of a high school
those
student
are the big
are
two.
you?
Quiet, shy,
Sports,
surprise.
Sports, anything like that? Or just
Yeah,
getting through
in
it?
elementary school, sure. Yeah. High school, I was just trying to get out of there. Yeah.
You said you went to, was it Memphis State?
No.
No.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, them Bulldogs.
Was it, did you have to go to college? Did you want to go to college? You feel like you had to go to college? What was that about?
Oh, no, I wanted to get out of my small town and go somewhere and see something new. And that was the logical step. And college seemed like a lot of fun. And college was a lot of fun.
What'd you major in?
Public relations and communications.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's paying off now, right?
A little bit, yeah. Halfway through, I decided, I think I'd be better suited for marketing because public relations people are real outgoing and real talkative and stuff, and that's really not me. But I decided I wanted to change to marketing, and they told me it was going to take an extra semester, and I said, public relations is just fine.
Yeah.
So, because I deliver, I had to put myself through college and deliver pizzas and stuff. So I was trying to get out and get a real job.
When you look back on it, knowing what you know now, would you continue to do it because of the experience, or would you forego it and figure out a different way?
Forego what?
College.
Oh, no, I needed the experience.
Yeah.
It was a perfect little landing spot between, small town, high school, parents' house to adult. It gave you that nice little cushion.
How old is Michael nowadays?
He's 15.
All right, 15. So
he's got his learner's permit.
Getting there, right?
He's driving us around. Yeah.
Young man, I get that. Are you encouraging him to look at college? Do you even talk about it at this point? Do you want him to go no matter what? What's your parenting skill on that?
Every kid's different. He's really good at school. I feel like he would be really good in college. Our only rule is that once you get out, you got to do something. You're not just going to, hang out around the house and watch TV all day. If you want to go get a job, go get a career, go start working on your career. If you want to go to college, go start working on that. But you got to start doing something, you got to start moving in some direction. That's really our only big role. But whatever he wants to do is up to him.
So you get out of college and then you're moving up to Memphis at that point?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. I didn't have a job. I had a buddy that needed a roommate, and I said, I'll do it. I'll be there. And I just showed up, and I found a job with this tiny little startup internet company. And that was kind of unheard of back then because this is like 2002, 2003, something like that. But I just loved it. I loved the aspect of it. And I was building websites and setting up sales funnels and doing AdSense and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a crash course in learning all the, the foundation of kind of what we've done over the years. I brought that knowledge to the table, and Malcolm brought like the barbecue cooking knowledge, and he brought the charm. So,
how do you meet Malcolm?
In a bar.
Just randomly, you meet
Probably
this guy?
we had mutual friends.
Yeah,
we had some mutual friends, and we were all kind of hanging out, and we met in a bar, and I think he liked me a lot more than he was more interested in me than I was interested in him at the time.
How does Malcolm woo you? Like, if you're not so interested, I'm not saying you weren't interested in, but you can tell who's more into who right up front, right? So how does he woo you?
He
wear you
Malcolm's
down?
biggest plan. No, Malcolm's biggest plan in life at that time was what he was doing Saturday night. Who was having the party? I had this degree. I was trying to buy a house. I was, trying to build a career, and Malcolm was just having a good time. And we had a really good time together. And I would always say, I'm not gonna marry him or nothing. We're just having a good time. And then I messed around and
found out,
fell in love, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. And he was he architect at that point, or?
No, he was a bellhop at that point. He was working at the casinos.
Was he still in?
And it was shortly
in college.
Oh yeah, all right. One of the iterations of college, probably. Yeah. Malcolm seems like he is. He's very put together, very professional these days. But back in his 20s, he was just having a good time.
So when you guys are now dating, and I guess eventually, how long do you date before you get married? Pretty quick, or you guys roll it out a little bit?
No, it was like 5 years.
Oh, all right.
It was something like that. Yeah. We dated for a really long time, but I was young. I was 22, 23 when we met. So, and we got married when, in 2008, found out we were pregnant like 2 months later.
Yeah.
And so it kind of happened quick after that.
Great Recession on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So as you are now a young married couple, like what's life like? I think a lot of people only know you guys as the How to BBQ Right juggernaut and all the various landscapes and all this other, especially over the last 10, 12 years. You had a life before that. So what's life like before the juggernaut of How to BBQ Right?
It was kind of tough. I was at that point, I was freelance working. So I was working from home. And, Malcolm got laid off about that time, like right after we had our kid. And it was tough. We kind of made this decision that we had just enough money to save to get us, I think it was like 8 months or something like that. And so we said, we're going to live off my salary and this money we got saved up, and we're going to see if we can make it work. And if we run out of money, we'll, go get a real job. And I think that kind of, what they say, hungry dogs run the fastest or something. Yeah. But having to do that was kind of tough. So we would, we had a brand new baby, and I was still working from home. We were trying to sell, our rub online and doing all our pick, pack, and shipping from our garage. Doing the videos, the social stuff, the newsletters, and picking up any job we could find. Catering job. We sold turkeys at Thanksgiving, sold hams at Christmas. Anything that, whatever needs to be done. We always kind of found a way, but money was tight, months were long, money was short.
Can we stop here just for 1 second, and then we'll come back and pick up your look back at It's a Wonderful Life here in December?
Sure.
All right. Rachelle Reed joining us here on the show. We'll get back in just one moment. Before we do that, I will talk to you quickly about 50% of my wardrobe. Here's the other 50% here. So How to BBQ Right is outfitting me on the undershirt, and Pits and Spits right there is giving me the outer shirt. If you're serious about your grilling game, then you need to check out the latest from Pits and Spits. They've just launched 2 game-changing products that will take your outdoor cooking to the next level: the griddle and the built-in pellet grill. Starting with the griddle, combines the power of traditional grill with the versatility of a flat-top griddle engineered with precision and crafted from top-quality materials. Versatile Griddle is set to revolutionize your outdoor cooking experience. Constructed of 304 marine-grade stainless steel, a fully welded design. The griddle comes with 4 burners to accurately manage your heat zone and gets to a blistering 80,000 BTUs. Made with the Pits and Spits signature quality, the griddle is designed to last for generations. And for those of you building your outdoor ultimate cooking kitchen, you have to check out the built-in pellet grill designed for discerning grill masters who demand top-tier performance. This grill is the centerpiece of any serious outdoor kitchen. From low and slow smoking to high heat searing, this grill can handle it all. Briskets, ribs, pizzas, veggies, you name it. This grill can cook it. With Pits and Spits legendary craftsmanship, you can be confident it's going to be built to last. With stainless steel construction and a design that's as reliable as it is versatile. So if you're ready to take your cooking to the next level, head on over to pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central and use promo code BBQ Central for a free spice pack with orders over $500. That's pitsandspits.com with a double T on the pits and the spits /BBQ Central. Use promo code BBQ Central for a free spice pack. We're back with more Rachelle Reed right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
This segment brought to you by Fireboard, makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the ultra-new Fireboard Pulse wireless thermometer. When you use the Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. Good folks over at Fireboard, as we are rejoined by Rachelle Reed. I've often said that How to Barbecue Right's YouTube channel was visionary in its launch. No one else was really doing that kind of content that you were doing. Granted, it doesn't look like the videos do today. Was there any point between then and where you are now where you and Malcolm talked about just dumping it all together and doing a reboot?
Yeah, I'm sure. We've had conversations about all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's kind of funny to look back on it now and say that it was visionary because that's not what we were thinking at the time, you know. We just got lucky. We thought it was a good idea and started doing it. And our main goal was like, if we could just not have to have real jobs. That was like our big main goal. We could work together and not have to have real jobs. So that's the only reason we did it. We weren't like some, you know, marketing geniuses on that one.
I remember before the YouTube channel, or maybe they were a little bit intertwined, but I was getting a weekly newsletter or monthly newsletter from Malcolm, and he was talking about something that was timely. I reach out to Malcolm and go, hey, let's, come on the show. And I think I was going live at that point, 2008, when I started doing the live shows. And he always seemed to be doing something topical that I thought was show relatable. And here, fast forward all these years, decades later, and, still showing up on the show, still doing things together, which I certainly appreciate. How do you know? How do you know video stuff? Does somebody say go out and buy something like this and just stand there and start? Or how do you even conceptualize the beginnings of the video?
We copied Food Network. We kind of grew up watching all those shows, and in college, we didn't hang out together in college, but separately we were watching cooking shows with our friends. And so we kind of took that concept and applied it to barbecue, backyard barbecue. And when it comes to like how to film or how to edit, we learned in real time. We got the cheapest camera we could get our hands on. And back in the day, we didn't even edit. it was like 8-part series on how to cook a brisket. It was terrible, you know. It was horrible, but we just learned over time, and you know, we'd run into somebody who's like, "Hey, try this," you know, or "Hey, have you tried this program?" Or and we slowly made enough money where we could buy a new camera. And so it's always kind of like we're constantly learning, we're constantly upgrading, and we're constantly trying to make it better.
I think, unquestioned, Malcolm is the face of the brand. He's cooking, he's developing recipes, he's relating to the everyday ham and egger out there manning the grill. You're certainly not out there looking for adulation, but how much work is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about that you are solely responsible for?
That's a pretty good bit, especially back in the day, when it was just us two. You know, it was 50-50 at least, you know. Um, so anything that's kind of behind the scenes, I kind of did, you know. He was testing recipes and he shoots the videos and he writes the recipes, and he now he makes, you know, a lot of the business decisions and stuff like that. But for a long time, you know, it was just us two doing it all. Now we've got a lot of help. We've got several employees and stuff, which is kind of crazy to even think about. But we've built a pretty good team here, so we kind of share the work now.
How hard is it to
I
keep
still end up
coming up
doing
with,
way more than I want to.
like, what? Okay, if you could pull back, like, what would you like to relinquish off of your table? And are you not relinquishing because you like to have your hands in it? Like my boss at work
Yeah.
is always like, "Oh, you know, I'm trying to get my hands out of this, or I'm trying to get my hands out of that." But meanwhile, like, I know he wants his hands in it. So,
Yeah.
like, do you like having your hands in it?
Yeah.
And there's nothing. It's
I
got to be
mean,
so tough, right? I mean, you've built. I mean, you guys are the quintessential face of live fire, especially when it comes to YouTube. So, knowing that it was you two building the brand that exists today, I mean, it would be an incredible ask for somebody to say, "Hey, Rachelle, just recuse yourself from 98% of the things that are going to be going on and do this instead," because of all the sweat equity that you've put into building where How to Barbecue Right is today.
yeah, I don't know if it's because I'm a control freak or what, but I do kind of get nervous turning stuff over to people. And they make fun of me all the time. They're like, Shell's going to come along and go behind you and fix everything that you've done. But it is kind of tough to give it over to somebody, you know, because you have this vision, you've kind of developed this relationship with this brand, you know how it is and how you want it to be. So it's hard to teach that to somebody else. And then once you learn to trust somebody and they kind of learn your vision, it becomes easier. And that's something that we've been able to do over the past few years, is really let some other people step up and do more things. Even we're starting back the Out the Smoke, and Mark Williams is kind of taking that over, and it's going to be kind of a new podcast format. So it's something else we're adding to the mix.
How hard is it to keep coming up with fresh, engaging content?
It can be tough.
Yeah.
We keep a running list in our phones, both of us. You know, we're always looking at TikTok. Malcolm reads cookbooks constantly. You know, he's always looking for new cookbooks, old cookbook, new cookbooks. And it's not that you take ideas and copy them, but you take ideas and you say, "Hey, this is a great idea. Let's turn it into this, you know, let's turn it into something we can cook on the grill." Or, you know, going out to restaurants, going traveling. And that's a big thing. It's always just trying new things, but trying to stay inspired and come up with new ideas is really tough. And sometimes you get burnt out on doing the recipes and cooking, and it can get, you know, a little tiring.
What's it like being around your husband and business partner all the time? I love asking this question to the couples that will come on the show, because to me, it's very unique. I have a wife. I love her. She is professional in no related field to mine. We do not have a joint business venture. We're not locked at the hip, or like our success is not dependent on our success together. And so we have that separation, but then there's folks like you and Malcolm and a bunch of other folks that I've talked to during the course of my time interviewing folks that are together, like successful competition teams and stuff like that that are out there, husband and wife. How do you
There's a lot of those
make
in
it work?
barbecue.
Yes, of course. So how do you make it work? Because there has to be points where you fundamentally disagree, and Malcolm is fundamentally disagreeing with your disagreement, but there has to be something done in order to keep the ship moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some days you kind of just want to stab them with the fork, you know. But then me and Malcolm, we get along really, really well. We listen to each other pretty well. And really, I can't imagine doing it with anybody else. We kind of enjoy spending the time together usually. Uh, there's, like we said, we usually when we disagree on something, we'll sit down, we'll talk about it. I'll say my point of view, he'll say his point of view, and usually one of us goes, yeah, I guess you're right,
I think there is a YouTube money fascination with folks out there still, especially for those who don't know how the YouTube game changes fairly regularly. So as you look at the collective revenue streams of How to BBQ Right, which is the best, and how has that changed over the years? Which revenue stream is the best? I think a lot of people want to go, well, it's got to be that YouTube money that everybody was talking about. But there's plenty of other things that you guys are into, retail stores, the rubs and seasonings and sauces and all this other stuff, apparel. What's the best revenue stream?
The rubs, the actual physical products on the shelves by far. A lot of people think that you make millions and millions of dollars on YouTube. And back in the day, like before we really got big and, started having the followers and subscribers, there were people at that million follower levels that were making super buku money.
Yeah.
But then YouTube just started making changes and cutting it down and cutting it down. And I guess around COVID, when most people started using YouTube a lot more because, everybody was at home and trying to do new hobbies and things like that. That's kind of when we did see probably the most money we've ever seen from YouTube. And it was good money, but it wasn't like, retire forever type money.
No.
And then I guess YouTube decided they were tired of paying that much money. So they really cut it back. You just don't make as much as you might think.
What level?
Like me.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, if we just lived off YouTube money, me and Malcolm could live, just us two, decent life, nice life. But we wouldn't have any employees or, we wouldn't be able to have this business.
Yeah. What level of interest does Michael have in any of this at the moment?
When he was little, a pretty good bit. He enjoyed it. He wanted to cook. He liked, he loved the SEA contest. He would make his own little cooking videos sometimes. Now he could care less. In fact, I think sometimes he gets embarrassed when people recognize his daddy. So
that was one of my questions was going to be, maybe this is not the way I should have worded it, but does Michael realize how popular that you and Malcolm are in this sector of the world? And what does he think if somebody would be like, hey, Malcolm, I watch you?
I mean, that it happens. He just kind of rolls his eyes and ignores it a little bit.
Because he's a teenager and it's weird?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine he kind of likes it a little bit. He thinks it's a little cool. Some people at his school know who his daddy is. And, when you're a teenager, you think having a YouTuber or TikToker or whatever, that's kind of cool. So there is that. But of course, he's going to tell us he's embarrassed by it.
Is there a time
roll his eyes. And
do you think he would take over at some point?
I asked him one day, and he said it seems like a lot of work. So,
But I mean, he's seen it kind of grow from nothing to he's grown right along with it. I mean, he's 15 years old. You guys have been doing it about 15 years, 16 years, whatever. So I mean, he's seen only you guys work.
That's true. Back in the day, we used to have to go pick up rubs and sauces like in the back of Malcolm's pickup truck. We'd go to the truck line, they'd load the pallet in the back of the truck, and we'd drive it back to the house and, have to unload it piece by piece into the garage. And so we would make him get up there and hand us the rubs. So ever since he's been little, he's been unloading rubs and, going to contests and watching us do catering events and, stuff like that. So he has seen a lot of the work.
Do you think that there could be a time where entities of How to Barbecue Right exist, but the video component doesn't exist anymore?
I don't know. I feel like that is kind of the main part of it, What is it if we're not doing some sort of recipes and we're not doing some sort of cooking? So I haven't envisioned it, and we've never talked about it existing without the video component.
Have you guys ever been approached by a McCormick's or some super big company and asked to buy you guys out of the rubs?
No, but you can give them my number if they if they come asking.
Yeah, Malcolm always says on the show, accepting all or considering all offers.
Considering all offers.
Yeah.
We'll at least take a look.
Goal-wise, maybe even just for the first half of 2025, what are you guys planning for? 2025,
yeah. One big thing that we've been kind of focusing on the past year or 2 years is we've kind of want to give back a little bit, I guess. There's so many guys out there doing barbecue videos and TikToks and stuff like that. And we kind of have a ambassador program, and we want to kind of teach those guys everything we know, or at least be a resource for them, because there's so many hard lessons that you learn over the years, and we didn't really have anybody, you could go to and ask and say, hey, what do you think I should do here? Have you ever had experience with this? Do you know anything about this co-packer? Questions like that. We had a few people we would ask, but not many. And so that's a big goal of ours is this coming year is to make that program bigger and help those guys come up too. And then Malcolm's got the whole buck junkies thing where he's really into the hunting and fishing, and he loves that lifestyle of it. So he's been putting a lot more time and effort into that too.
You said buck junkies. I did not hear that. I was like, what is he into? What podcast are we going to be launching? Wow. This is all of a sudden I'm keenly interested in where we're going from here. Butt Junkies, hosted by Malcom Reed. What Christmas or holiday gift are you recommending if people are asking you?
For what to get their pitmaster?
Yeah.
That's always tough. I mean, thermopins are always the first option, or some type of meat probe, meat thermometer. That's to me a great gift. You use those so much. Coolers, dry coolers, Cambros. That's first options. A grill.
From Malcom Reed's barbecue supply store, preferably.
Yeah, that would be even better.
How's that turning? How's that running?
Road.
Are you happy with how the store is turning out?
Yeah.
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 Better than expected?
That is about what we expected. It's a small, we opened it because we really wanted to be part of the community, be able to do events and be able to, maybe pass out free barbecue on a Saturday and, just be part of the community. And so that's been really successful in that way. it was such a bigger undertaking to open a small retail shop in a small town than I ever thought it would be. So it did take up a lot of our time, and that's one thing that we really kind of we have someone else that manages that for us, and we do kind of like turn that over. And they do, we do Santa at the shop, and we, let all the kids come and get a free picture with Santa, get some cookies and some hot cocoa, and we've been doing these local contests where we hold, we did a wing contest, a burger contest, a chili contest. So like about every quarter, we're just doing this small local people come to the parking lot and do this quick 1-day contest. And we've been having a lot of fun with those and really like those.
And you guys really give a lot back to the community that you're in. I think it speaks volumes to the type of people that you are looking to really do. A lot of folks will get to a point where you guys are at and move or not want to be involved in the community that much, or, try and be a little bit more high profile. You guys continue to reinvest into the places where business is being done, which is certainly admirable. From a podcast standpoint, I mean, I love watching the YouTube videos, of course, from cooking because I like to cook. But I think one of my favorite things every week is tuning into the How to BBQ Right podcast, because I'm a guy that likes to look behind the scenes as well. So having this type of show hit every week and getting a peek behind the scenes is something great. Do you see that going on extended?
Yeah. I think we enjoy the podcast. It's a great form of marriage counseling, Greg. You can, because you might walk in and be mad at him or something, but by the time the end of the podcast, he's made me laugh, and we've talked about food, and problems are settled and stuff. So,
Rachelle, this has been an absolute treat for me. Appreciate you coming on the show, pulling the whole hour. Malcom rarely pulls a full hour, so you've already done twice as much work as he does in a month. Anything else I can let you promote or talk about before I turn you loose tonight?
I don't have anything.
No? All right. Well, again, thank you so much.
Enjoy that nacho cheese machine.
Oh, yes. We are going to enjoy that nacho cheese machine by the 6 pounds of cheese at a time. And it's going to start here in 2 weeks at our first Christmas party. So I'll take pictures and video and shoot you so you can see how we're using it.
Well, thanks for having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
All right, Rachelle, thanks so much for doing it. And have a great Christmas. What is going on over here? That looks really like him. Wow, that's great. That was Rachelle Reed from How to BBQ Right. That's Willis right there. Bobby's home. She stopped by. Maddie's there too. Wow. I didn't know everybody was coming down. I would have set up the other microphone and could have done the whole thing there. So, hey, there's Miles Garrett right there. Bobblehead. You can hear his head shaking. It's great. Did you get one too?
I did.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we got 2 of them.
I got a fancy cup.
I saw it.
You gotta wear my shirt next time. You gotta wear my shirt.
The girls want to be on the show.
Shirt.
You have to wear my shirt, the one with my face on it.
Oh, that's right. I
Next
will.
time.
I will wear that. All right. So let me see where we're at here. I don't know. Let's go here. Sorry. Yep. Give me 1 second. Move. Okay. Here we go. Sorry. Readjusting. We thank Malcom Reed's very accommodating and very engaging wife, Rachelle Reed, for joining us for this full first hour. If you didn't know her, the curtain is now pulled. Looking forward to them recapping that on their show in a couple days. All right, we are pointing to the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Doug Scheiding, the Rogue Cookers, Texas embedded correspondent. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet for wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right. Just like that, we are in the second hour of the Barbecue Central show where we talk about the most important things of live fire barbecue and grilling that are happening these days. As I'd mentioned, top of the first hour in the show open, Blackstone and Weber are joining forces. That's live, local, and late breaking as of yesterday. I don't know if it was really promoted that heavily, but Wes Wright found it, shot it over to me, and I am talking about it right now. It is on the Weber website. I assume it's somewhere on the Blackstone website as well. But you're going to need to give me a couple minutes. So I have to do something real quick. I didn't think I was going to have to do it, but I want to make sure I'm all set up. So you're going to hear music and not me. I'm right here. Don't worry. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, so stand by. Yeah. Hopefully that works out in the end. Stand by. That's going to be good enough. That's going to be good enough. Little foreshadowing going on here. Don't worry about it. We got it right. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me through that. Once again, we thank Rachelle Reed for joining us in the first hour. First time she's been out of the How to BBQ Right ecosystem. First time being a guest somewhere else other than talking on a How to BBQ Right podcast. They like doing that. I was invaded just off screen by the entire Rempy women. And as Austin Parsons pointed out in the chat, Greg thrown off the game by the crew busting in. 100% correct. Yes. If I'm top of an hour, I'm not thrown off the game. In the middle of an interview, I'm dialed in, right? I don't want to have to even, only under emergency will I want to break. So you are right, Austin. Thrown off a little bit. Still to come in the show this evening, Mike Lang from Another Pint, Please. We had Austin Dennis from I Cook You Look, but he had to beg off. He will be in next week. We've already rebooked him. And closing out the show tonight will be a special in-studio guest, which I will not talk about. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. Or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where there is a YouTube poll question of the week. And we're asking everybody this, including all guests, is Malcom Reed the most influential person in live fire today? And currently 85% of you are saying yes. Rachelle was able to conjure up as an alternative a Matt Pittman, and that was it. Heath Riles too, she did say. They're one city over from wherever they're at. I believe Malcolm's in Hernando, Mississippi. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 362, bringing you back to November 28th of 2017, 7 years ago, roughly. This week, we feature our pal and rogue cooker pitmaster, longest-running embedded correspondent from Texas, Doug Scheiding. In this week's show, we hear Doug completely eviscerate the 2017 version of the World Food Championships. This segment was done on the Embedded Correspondence segment. From length of time to wait to hear... Okay. From the length of time it took to wait to hear the awards to feeling like the barbecue event was treated as a second-class citizen, to rules not being clearly written, to people and teams not getting their paychecks on time, Doug really gave it to that version of the World Food Championships. So much so as to say he would never go back to the World Food Championships ever again, ever. And to his credit, I don't believe he ever has. The best part of the segment, of course, is back then, Tennessee embedded correspondent was Steve Ray before he quit the show. But the best part of this segment was former Tennessee embedded correspondent Steve Ray telling Doug that Doug was the only one who didn't seem to know the rules. Him and some dessert guy that he makes reference to. A classic Doug and Ray repartee. Also, listen all the way to the end. John tosses his own zinger in during the talk out of the show. I laughed out loud when I heard it. If you're not familiar with the original embedded correspondence, what John is doing at the end is in reference to one of the other guys who I don't think is name dropped at all during this particular portion of the Best Moments show. But he was a original embedded correspondent along with Steve and John and Doug. So look forward to that coming Friday. You can subscribe to this show and the Best Moment Show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe and pick the way that you would like to get the show. Don't forget, if you would like to hear a guest or a segment again that has been lost in the archives, email John and let him know what you would like to hear. John, Jon, John, Jon at thebbqcentralshow.com. Let him know what you would like to hear. And you are off and running. He'll do his best to meet your needs and expectations. The question that I'm having for all of you, before we get to Mike Lang, who is ready to rock and roll, what's the rule when you mobile order? For instance, last weekend, Starbucks run, it's only 45 seconds up the street, multiple coffees from Starbucks, and they screw something up. If you're getting 4 or 5 or 6 coffees, do you check there for accuracy? Do you assume they're going to be right? What if they aren't, and you are now at a different place before you realize the error? What do? Do you do nothing? Do you chalk it up to c'est la vie? Even the cheapest thing on the Starbucks menu was $4. Black coffee, like $3.50. But you know, these girls, they're buying cappuccino lattes, mocha frappolopos, half pumps, full whips, half whips, no dips. That's $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. What's going on? What the hell's going on out there? So what's the protocol? What's the rule? Hey, what do we love about ceramic cookers? Especially when it's snowing its ass off. We love that they can get hot and stay hot. Fuel misers, even in the most brutal of temperatures, hot or cold. The real ability to do true two-zone cooking can be done in only one of those ceramic cookers, and that is the Primo. It's the game-changing oval design. It gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that I just mentioned. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. Also, when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker, only limited by your culinary imagination. The bottom line is this. They have the best ceramics in the biz, patented technology, true two-zone cooking capabilities, multiple sizes. You have to go to a dealer to find one. So go to primogrill.com, search the dealer near you, and then visit them in person. Follow them on Facebook and Instagrams, why don't you, while you're at it. primogrill.com. Can we please get a visit from Mike Lang, goddammit? Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
In this portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional. It's definitely a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com. Tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you, and make sure that if you have a Weber Smoky Mountain, you are buying the Pit Barrel Weber Smoky Mountain hanging attachment for very little money, make you look like $1 million. My first guest in the second hour is back for his last quarterly appearance in 2024. If you follow him on social media or you visit his website, typically you are delighted at his recipe creations, also his photography and videography shooting skills. From an influencer standpoint, he continues his association with industry leader Weber Grills. Also wrote that best-selling cookbook to me, One Beer Grilling, an inaugural member of the Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame. We, of course, welcome back our pal Mike Lang from Another Pint Please. Mike, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. Is Malcom Reed the most influential person in the live fire today? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. 79% of you are agreeing with Mike in the YouTube voting public, down from 86% where it crested at the high water mark. So the nose eating back a little bit on that. Mike, any thoughts on the recently announced combining Weber and Blackstone news released yesterday?
Yeah, I knew you would ask about that. And as I say, I worry about more what I see in front of the lens in terms of, the spreadsheets and the actual operation of the company. I remember a couple of years ago being at headquarters filming when they had the huge reduction in workforce. And I had a lot of friends there that some didn't come back to work. So at the end of the day, I don't know what's going on, but I hope it is good for the company and now for both companies, that there's so much goodwill there that it only takes both places to better horizons.
It's just us gals talking here. I feel like at some point down the road, one of the two brand names goes away. Do you foresee a future of something similar, or do you see an environment that will support the two of them separately?
I have no idea. Although I would say the Weber name is synonymous with outdoor cooking. Synonymous, since 1952, and everyone's got a picture of growing up in their backyard with the Weber kettle. So I think it's kind of hard to not have that in the future. So I think you'll always see Weber.
It's a few months removed now, of course, but what did you think of the 2024 version of Hartville Hardware's Grill Fest?
Amazing.
Can you imagine it was just September and now, I don't know where you probably got nothing, but towns just east of me have 64 inches of standing snow in the yard.
Oh my gosh. And I'm only 3.5 hours to the southwest, and we have nothing but cold weather, which is miserable. Yeah. But going back to September, oh my gosh, it was perfect. It was our third year, at least my third year being involved in it. It's gotten better every year. The weather was perfect. And I hope it all lines up again next year. If you didn't go, if you're in the area, I encourage you to please go. It's a great day.
I think when people hear me hype it for like a month and a half in advance, they're listening to what I'm saying, but they're not hearing what I'm saying. And they think, large retail event, we're going to go. And it's really not as great as maybe he's making it sound. And of course, all the people that are going to be there are saying, what a great event this is going to be. I say, don't take my word for it. Don't take his word for it, for crying out loud. You show up and really, we back ourselves out of this. Would you drive 3 hours from Dayton and go to this event once a year?
Oh, absolutely would. Yeah. Completely. And it's saying a large retailer is kind of a misnomer. Hartville is truly a family operation. It's not like you're walking into a typical big box store. Yeah. You've got an entire staff of people that know grills and are there to help you with a purchase or help explain things to you. So it is not the atypical retail event. It's an amazing time. I can't say enough about it.
How was Thanksgiving?
It was fantastic.
What do you do?
How was yours?
What's your typical?
Well, let's see. By Thanksgiving this year, I had already grilled 8 turkeys.
Because it's all the social media, right?
Social media, Weber.com, recipe development, photography for the website. So and social is definitely a big part of that. So, but turkey number 9 came out on Thanksgiving. I still have to do a turkey. But I may admit that I actually also smoked a ham, and I might have liked that better.
I had Chris Young on the show a few weeks ago. He mentioned that following his cook the turkey from completely frozen method would yield superior results. You ever tried that?
I have not tried it. I'm familiar with his thought process on it. And I do like listening to him because I love when science kind of comes into what we do for cooking, because there's so much that there, you think back in the early days of man putting protein on fire, it was, cook food good. But now there's so much you can really dive into as far as why is it good? What makes it better? How can we improve upon it? So yeah, I'm familiar with it. And it's interesting, too, because I had a photography assignment for Simply Recipes a couple of years ago, and it was actually grilling frozen proteins. And one of the things I did was steaks, and I was like, okay. It's edible. It's fine. It wasn't my favorite way of doing it. I think it looks different, obviously, because of how the temperature is reacting to the heat. But it's certainly doable. I don't think it's going to be accepted broadly by the masses because you think about how many questions people have these days about grilling or baking a fresh turkey. And now you're going to throw something frozen into the mix. Hello, Butterball. It's going to be, but does it work? Sure. But no, I don't think it's going to be widely accepted.
Yeah, I tried to get it past the goalie for Thanksgiving Thursday and roundly rebuffed. So I said, well, I mean, maybe between now and end of the year, I would like to give it a shot. Now, I did have somebody who was inspired enough to try it in advance of Thanksgiving, and it was quite an extensive email ending with, please forward this to Chris Young, miserable fail, blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, I immediately hit the forward button, sent it over to Chris Young, and he came back a day later and said, okay, well, I feel bad for this guy. However, he didn't do all of the things that I said in the video to do that yielded me the results that I got and the ones that I'm talking about. He used a completely different cooker. He used a different temperature. He did this. He did that. None of the stuff that he did. He's like, so I can't say he was going to have a great outcome if he wasn't following exactly what I was saying to do. So I completely understand that. If you're going to do it, you should try and replicate exactly what he's doing, which is what I will try to do. And he maintains that because it's frozen bird and it's defrosting and this and that, you wind up with ultimately a juicier bird because of this. So I posed the question to Todd and Susie Bullock. They weren't interested in trying it on Thanksgiving right away either, but I'm wondering
on Thanksgiving.
I mean, ultimately, Mike, you've probably fielded the phone calls, the emails, the text messages going, oh, shit, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I forgot to thaw the turkey. And it was like, we'll get it in a water bath and change the water out every 30 minutes so it stays safe, or doing some other wacky way to try and defrost it. But meanwhile, it's like 15 pounds or more. That thing's frozen solid for the next 2 days anyway. And you're cooking it par frozen at some point in its life before you eat it. And I'm like, well, hey, there's somebody out there that's going to forget it anyway. As my youngest would say, let the fret evacuate your body and just throw that bitch in whole, completely frozen and at 250 in the convection oven, blah, blah, blah. 5 hours later, you have a perfectly cooked turkey. Skeptical, yes, but I mean, it sounds right.
Well, now's the time to go experiment after Thanksgiving when
Yes.
turkeys are cheap. Frozen sitting there on the shelves. There's some great deals to be had if you want one.
What's the best leftover turkey dish?
Stuffing, or I should say dressings. I'm not stuffing it, but oh yeah, I just something about that. It's in the fridge. I don't have to heat it up. I'm just going to eat it
cold.
And oh yeah, when it comes to leftovers, I am just I don't fret. I'll just eat it. And in fact, I said some soup a little bit ago. I barely nuked it. It was cold still, but it was delicious.
You eat cold mashed potatoes too?
Not as often, no.
But you will by choice eat cold stuffing.
I have no problem eating cold leftovers. Zero.
Wow.
Whether the hot pizza, anything, I don't care.
Yeah, well, pizza's different. Pizza's better cold.
Yeah, I don't know if it's better or not, but it's certainly good.
What about turkey protein itself? What do you like to do with that leftover?
It's funny. I did three things. I made more stock, and then I also did which basically it's turkey salad, like a riff on chicken salad, and turkey pot pie.
Oh, turkey pot pie! I didn't even think of that. You like peas?
Well, yeah, I like peas. Yeah, peas, lima beans, green beans, carrots. All those good vegetables. Well, it's funny because I actually developed a recipe for Weber, I think last year or 2 years ago. And I forget the things that I've done. So I go back and I influence myself by reading them again. And I go, oh, that's right. I did that grilled turkey pot pie and cranked that out. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. So I made two and froze one. And on another night, now I will cook that before you ask if I'll have that cold or not. But no, I will actually heat that one up.
What's the most important step in a great pot pie?
I think number one, having a good protein leftover, that's going to be the most important part of it. And then to make sure you also get a good gravy out of it. If you put your roux together and get a nice consistency for it, and away it goes. One thing I don't fret over is the actual pie part of it. In fact, more often than not, I won't even put fill paint for it and call it. And I'm going
Mike.
Easy.
Mike. Eeks. Mike. Oh, he's frozen. Totally frozen. How can this be? He's got gigabit internet. I know this because he told me I have gigabit internet. And Mike always doubling down and saying he's going to go hardwire in, which that is something that I don't require of everybody, which is like hardwiring in. A lot of people don't have hardwire anymore. You know me, I'm hardwiring anywhere. That's why I don't travel. That's why I don't do a lot of weird shit. Go on the road, do remote, do any of that because, I like consistency of connection, but Mike always does the extra work, does the hard wiring in and all. But he said gigabit internet. I don't know. So, Mike, you there? Oh, he's there and then he's not. He looks down. He's back to. Wait. You there, Mike? He's laughing. He can hear bits and pieces.
I'm here.
Mike. Okay. Wow. Something has happened. You there now? I don't know what the hell's going on over here. I know Mike Lang.
And obviously,
here you are. Here you are. No, you're not. Yes, you are. No, you're not. It is. There is. No, we got nothing. All right. Punch it. Oh, wait. There you are. You're back now.
Oh, I'm back.
Yes. There you are. Oh,
fluttering in the breeze.
Yes. How's that gigabit internet working out?
I've had this all tuned up, and when I need it the most, it epically fails me.
Yes.
This is living in the rural part of the world.
Yeah, welcome to my world. Yeah, no worries. We are now firmly in the midst of holiday season. Do you do a gift guide? If so, what are the top 3-4 items that you're recommending for live fire folks that are asking for their live fire lovers?
I don't really do gift guides per se, but if I'm asked my opinion of it, the first thing I'll always say is get a new thermometer.
Yeah.
And get a good mechanical timer. Those are the two things I always talk about. I love the triple stick from Thermopin. It's got 3 timers on it. You can track 3 different things at the same time. Just make sure you don't shut off the alarm that you aren't worried about or are worried about. I've done that before. But get a really good, you're going to drop $100 or more. Get a really good instant read thermometer. It's going to make your life so much easier.
Where are you living on wireless thermometers right now?
Kind of in okay land. In essence, I don't depend on it to really get me all the way there. I use it so I can be in the house when it's 12 degrees outside and not have to run outside and check something. So I know I'm kind of in the ballpark. And then once I feel up in the ballpark, I'll go ahead and probe it with an actual thermometer and see what's going on.
Are you just past it because you have so much time doing it now? You don't necessarily need thermometers?
No, that's not true. I mean, I will still, for a longer cook, I'll still hook one up. If anything, is to make sure, especially actually in some ways for ambient temperature of the grill. That way, if I'm inside, if something's dropped, I'm unaware of it. If it's in the middle of the night, that to me is a really important thing. But other than that, no, I just kind of use it to make sure I have an idea of what's going on, but I look at more of as a generality and not as a specific.
Somebody was asking you what grill should I be buying this year, charcoal grill wise, and money's no object. What are you recommending?
Oh, money's no object?
No
the
object.
Weber Summit Kamado.
Yeah,
the Summit Kamado for sure. I mean, that's the most multifaceted grill. It does everything, does it really well. It'll last you forever.
What about for the budget conscious?
22-inch Master Touch Weber kettle.
Classic.
Well, it's funny. I was sitting out back in the studio shooting yesterday. And
oh, no. Mike? Mike? Oh, dear. Now we're back at it again. Well, look, whoever gave this gigabit internet to Mike Lang, you got me to deal with going forward, buddy. It's going to be bad news for you. It's going to be a bad Christmas for you, bad 2025 for you. We're going to fight whoever gave Mike
as
that.
It should be.
Yes, no doubt. Mike, anything you have coming up that you would like to promote here before I turn you loose?
Just a lot of content on Weber, continuing to crank things out. Did a bunch of recipe development for Thanksgiving, which rolls into Christmas. And then just looking forward to the first of the year and then spring when it's warmed up outside.
Do we count on you for 2025 quarterly segments?
Absolutely, with better network infrastructure.
Yes, all right. Well, I'll take what I can get. This is Mike Lang. Another pint, please, of course. Mike, always appreciate the time. Have a great Christmas and a great New Year, and we'll see you in 2025.
Thanks so much, Greg. Take care.
You got it. Mike Lang right there. Appreciate his stick-to-itiveness on some of those internet issues that he was experiencing. All right, we got special guests coming in, sitting down as we speak, tweeting out, everybody tune into the live stream. Hey, Franklin Barbecue Pits is sponsoring this show. Folks, it's the holiday season. That means we can look forward to Christmas lights, football games, listening to Holly on Sirius XM. The whole family coming over for that holiday meal. Time to dust off the old box of family recipes. There might be still a few you can read. Oh, the fun's just beginning. This year, your friends and family over at Franklin Barbecue will tell you that it doesn't just have to be chestnuts roasting on an open fire. The luckiest among us can hear beautiful crackle of post oak heating up in the firebox of a brand new Franklin BBQ pit. From now through the end of the year, so only a few weeks left, $250 off the price of an offset smoker designed by famed pitmaster Aaron Franklin, specifically for your backyard. You may know Aaron Franklin from his award-winning restaurant in Austin, from his best-selling cookbooks, maybe his masterclass series, maybe because he's in the Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame, maybe because he's in the Barbecue Hall of Fame, maybe because he's the lead guitarist in a rock group called Zeus Apollo. Did you know that since 2020, he's been helping folks master the craft of barbecue all across the country with the heirloom quality Franklin BBQ pits? He has. Designed and built to be second to none, the Franklin pit is made in the USA, quarter-inch American-made steel. Franklin pit is a thing of beauty, unique into every natural marking and its own badge number. Masterful design, thickness, guarantees professional-grade heat retention. Make this holiday season special. Kickstart your barbecue journey by ordering your Franklin Barbecue Pit today. You can still use family recipes, of course, but your holiday meal will never be the same. Visit FranklinBBQPits.com to learn more about the Franklin Barbecue Pit, to buy online, or to see a list of certified Franklin dealers across this great country of ours. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from your friends at Franklin Barbecue Pit and me, the Barbecue Central Show. FranklinBBQPits.com. We are back with special in-studio guests right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Mike Lang for joining us last segment. This portion of the show being brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. Step into the world of McAuliffe cigars, where each blend is a chapter and a grand tale of craftsmanship and passion. The Color Series is taking over the cigar world. McAuliffe Black, 2023 Cigar of the Year. McAuliffe Blue and McAuliffe Red has been a 2024 cigar nominee or a contender. Try one now. McAuliffecigars.com. Proud sponsor of this show. Coming out of the bullpen tonight unexpectedly and back from the most recent Cavs domination down at the Romo Fijo, it is our oldest daughter, Bobby Rempe, right here. Hey, Bob.
Hello.
Hey, all right. Make sure that you get real nice and close like.
Is this good enough?
Yeah, that's good. Make sure everything is touching.
Really?
Yep. That's the way it is. I can pop you up here a little bit. If your chin or your lips aren't touching the foam screen, then you're too far away.
Okay.
Remember, it's all about sound quality on the show. It's not about
So
video.
this is too far.
Always.
But this is good enough.
Yeah, that microphone is built to be, it's a close talk microphone. This one, shotgun, I can get away with it not being in the picture. That one, I always had that one like way up into my face. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so sit comfortably and then move the microphone to where you want.
Okay, this is good.
All right. Bobby, you're home!
I'm
What
home.
have you been doing with your life?
Oh, I'm just a nurse.
You graduated college.
I did in May. I graduated college.
You had a job lined up months in advance.
Yeah, I think I accepted my job probably a year ago at this point.
Has it been a year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was right before my.
Long time.
I accepted it before my knee surgery. My knee surgery was in December 7th.
What was your
last year.
goal? Like, what did you want in this nursing job hunt?
Money.
I know, but outside of money, what was what did you want to achieve? What were you looking for?
Well, I guess the main thing I was looking for was to be an emergency room nurse. I didn't want to be a floor nurse. I shouldn't say hate.
Don't say hate.
I don't like floor nursing. It's not for me. I learned that through school clinicals.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just applying to jobs in emergency rooms in Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and I basically was not taking no for an answer.
Were you, so are there, I don't know, right? I don't remember the last time I was at an emergency room, but are there different levels? Like if I go to one over at Hillcrest, is that a better or lesser emergency room than if I go to the one downtown, or, like where you're at? Is that where the most
That's
elite
the place.
traumas come to?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so I work at a level 1 trauma center.
Ooh, is that what you wanted to do? Level 1?
Yes.
Is there a
that
level
is.
4?
Yes, but
5?
that's bad. Not like bad, but less.
Like I got to burn?
No. A burn would go to a level 1.
Oh, I mean like I burned my finger on the stove. Level
That
4.
would be like a please go to an urgent care. So trauma centers go from level 1 to, if I'm wrong, don't hate on me. I
Right.
think 3. It could be a 4. Don't know. But I know there's a 1 and a 2 and a 3 because UPMC Altoona just got downgraded to a 3 from a 2.
Altoona.
And basically, that's like where Quentin's kind of from, kind of. So basically, the difference between a 1 and a 2 is we have more staff and more doctors on 24/7, and we're required to do a certain amount of research in the hospital per year to meet certain requirements. Number 2s don't have to do as much as that. So I work at a level 1, but my hospital is a trauma center and a stroke center, and they're a really big like transplant center. So we see a lot of
Organs and whatnot.
Yeah, we
Wow.
see a lot of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
We get people flown to us from Ohio, other parts of Pennsylvania, places not in
You're like in the
Pennsylvania.
mix of it all. Like you see blood and guts.
Yeah,
No cap.
for real.
Yeah.
Blood and guts.
What's the most bloods and guts that you've seen so far?
I saw a kid.
No names, please.
No.
No names,
that's
please.
against the law.
Right. Hippo.
Hippa.
Hippo.
Hippa.
Hippa.
Is a 19-year-old.
Hippa.
There's a 19-year-old boy from Ohio. He was riding his motorcycle. He was going really fast. Like over 100 miles an hour fast.
Wow.
And he was swerving in and out of lanes, and he hit a truck, and it did not go very well for him.
No.
Which, that's what happens when you go fast. Wear your
And
gear,
you hit a truck.
people. And
I mean, really, if you're going 100 miles an hour and you have your leathers and a helmet on,
which he did.
I mean, that's still not probably going to go well for you, right?
No. There's a whole lot of physics and science behind the anatomy of his injuries.
Inertia.
Yeah. Things like that.
Salamification.
Which it like Newton's whatever law.
Re-logisticalization of your innards.
It's like something can't be stopped until the same amount of force
Yes.
is whatever. Don't know. But it's a law like that.
Yeah.
But basically,
Equal opposite
if
reaction has
that's-
an attraction of the action.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
So if it's not happening on the outside, it's happening on the inside.
Ooh.
Which
Not good for the
100
inside.
some miles an hour of force, a lot for your things like your heart and your lungs and your other intestines,
Other intestines.
liver.
So when he shows up to you, is his head exploded?
Oh my
And
God.
his arms are ripped off
No.
and his toes popped?
No.
No.
So this kid, he had all the gear on. So PSA people, if you have a motorcycle, wear your helmet and all of your fancy gear, because we also had a guy come in at the same time bragging about how he didn't have a helmet on, but he was okay. Next door, this kid is fighting for his life. So wear a freaking helmet and wear your freaking gear. My boyfriend's never allowed to have a motorcycle. Neither is my father.
Or Todd.
Or
for crying
Todd.
out loud. No, Todd. Todd, you can't have a motorcycle.
No, Todd's not allowed to have a motorcycle.
Right.
It's
a gem.
So basically, this kid had all the gear on. At least I'm assuming he came from a different hospital from somewhere in Ohio. He was not in good shape. His insides were all banged up
Yeah.
from the situation. He was stable enough to get into the helicopter. They flew him to us in Pittsburgh. So I think it was like Steubenville, Ohio, so not like super far. He ended up actually going into cardiac arrest again in the air, if I'm getting the story correct. They told us that before they got there. So we were like, we got to go up. So we go up to the helipad and we're doing compressions from floor 14 all the way down. And we get him into the trauma bay and the doctors are like, all right, open him up. I'm still on orientation. I'm still new. Like I've seen a chest cracked open before last summer, but it was only on one side. So this time they did both. So that's what they call like a clamshell. I was like, whoa, this is pretty horrible, but it was pretty cool for me.
So, I mean, this is like probably what separates you or you and the people that do what you do. You're not, somebody gets clamshelled, I'm probably maybe passing out.
Or throwing up.
And you're like, this is great. Let's have another one right after this one. Can't wait for my next clamshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like I like the anatomy and science of that kind of stuff. Like I called my boyfriend right away. I was like, oh, I wish you could see this. He goes, I don't. I'm good.
I'm normal.
I was like, oh, okay. Because it's a horrible situation. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family because it's terrible.
Good news. He survived. Bad news. Expired. Expired.
That's terrible. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. Seriously.
Great. I don't give a fuck.
Jess, how dare you?
Oh my God. He unfortunately did not make it.
Oh.
Normally, when it comes down to clamshells and things like that,
How could he?
it means that's like the last resort.
Yeah. That's a big maneuver.
So, yeah, it involves cutting, cracking the ribs, moving the lungs, and then getting to the heart. They're injecting medicine into the heart.
Oh.
All of the things.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, he was young, 19.
So when you're doing that, like, are you at, would you say, 5% chance of living through that? 2% chance? Like, if they have to do that?
Low like that, yeah. I don't know the exact.
Single-digit life expectancy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Percentage, yeah. Any other cool things you've seen that would make the normal person freak out? I'm not talking about the ne'er-do-wells and malfeasance that come through there, but like real live injuries.
I mean, like people come in with like half chopped off like fingers and toes or like holes rotting through their feet. If you're a diabetic, make sure you're looking at your feet, everyone. I don't want to hear an excuse as to why your toe is black.
Or at least don't go to the emergency room where Bobby's at in Pittsburgh. She'll lecture you.
Well, I will
You
because
have a
I'll call
hole
you
in your
out.
foot. Yeah.
Because-
I told you on my dad's show. You have a hole in your foot now, you dope.
A lot of people just need to watch their health that don't. It's okay. People just need a little bit of learning, and I'm here to help them learn.
How long are you into this nursing thing now? Real job-wise.
Like 6 months.
6 months. Wow.
Almost 6 months.
Rated out of
About a
10.
little over.
How satisfied are you with your position currently 6 months in out of 10? 10 being the best.
Yeah, I'm like a 9.
Really?
I do. I like my job
Good.
a lot. I'm learning a lot.
I knew when you were in school many years ago, and you said, we were on the floor, and there was this code blue, and I was with my class, and I just started running down the hallway, and then I stopped, and I came back, and I'm like, is it okay if I go? And your instructor was like, well, yes, go ahead. You were the only one in the group that ran out there because you wanted to like help and see. So I thought right then I said, look, this is the calling here. She's running into the face of a life-saving situation, or she could see something pretty traumatic, and how is she going to deal with that? And you're running right into it. So your mom and I looked right at each other. We're like, well, at least we know she's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So, and here you are seeing clamshells and bullet holes in heads, and
I am.
you're like, this was great.
Yeah.
So,
It's so
not
weird.
everybody can do that.
No, I go home sometimes. I'm like, I don't think I'm normal. I don't think the way I look at these things, I'm like, I don't know. Like normal people would see that and be like, what the hell did I just see? I'm like, oh, wow. I don't know. It's not normal the way I.
Maybe I can see a bigger gauge bullet hole tomorrow when I'm on shift.
I'm like, oh my God. Like,
what are
that
shifts
that
these
was
days
cool.
for nurses?
12 hours. Yeah. Unless you have like a soft nursing job, which is like a pediatrician's office somewhere like where we used to go.
Wow.
Or like something like Maddie wants to do. Like,
No shade. Wow.
just saying. Bedside nursing is normally like 12 hours. So I work 12 hours, 7A to 7P or 7P to 7A.
Mhm.
You can do mid shifts, but I won't do mid shifts for a while.
And is that 3 days a week?
Yes.
Yeah.
3 days a week.
And are you training still, or are you like free roamer at this point, or how does that whole thing work out with the nursing rotation or emergency room?
So actually, okay, so for my hospital, it's different. They do a 6-month orientation. So I started July like 15th, and I won't be off orientation until the end of this current schedule. So like July 9th, July 11th. No.
January
like 11th, and then I'll be on my own. Terrifying. Because there's so much going on in that hospital. I'm like, oh my God. But other hospitals, depending on if they're like a floor or whatever, or a lesser of a busy emergency room, they'll do like a 12 to 16 or 16 to 20 weeks, something like that, orientation.
So could you go work at those emergency rooms and just go right on by yourself at that point because you've been trained longer than they have, or it doesn't have anything to do with anything?
Yeah. I mean, I probably could. I just think my hospital sees a lot more than some other places. It's like UPMC is like a Cleveland Clinic in Pennsylvania, pretty much.
Lance Owens, barbecue realtor to the stars, living in Kona, Hawaii, says Hawaii needs medical professionals. Forget that snow and come to where it's warm. Lance, she's on the next plane out. You're in a 2-year contract though with Presby right now, right? So you can't leave yet. You got another
I got
year
some
and a half.
time. No, they are helping me out with some loans.
Yeah.
But I thought about travel nursing, but COVID's over. So they're not doing like COVID pay like they were for travel nursing. But emergency room nurses don't get a whole lot at certain places because that's where people want to work.
Oh. So they're checking to see where your real passion is.
Yeah.
Is it the greenbacks or is it the work?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, right now I can't really complain. It's more than I was making it up Permanis.
Yeah. Permantes is a Pittsburgh staple, by the way, if you're not familiar with Primanti Brothers. So outside of working, what are you up to?
Well, I got another cat.
You did?
I did.
Wow.
His name is Hank, and he's just a baby. He's like 10, 11 weeks. He's a small little fluff ball.
Yep.
And I'll probably bring him back for Christmas. And him and my other cat, Mo, get along very well.
Wonderful.
And I'm fostering another cat, Ollie.
Oh, right.
Nina's cat.
He goes away.
Eventually. We'll see. He loves Quentin.
Anything you're promoting or wanting to mention here before we call it quits tonight? Follow me on any social handles or anything like that? Or just
no. Everyone just stop smoking cigarettes and start wearing helmets and wearing leather when you ride a motorcycle. And please be safe, okay? Don't come to the ER.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Come to the ER.
And if they want to get hurt and come to see you specifically, where should they be going?
If you want to see me specifically, ask for UPMC Presbyterian in Oakland, Pennsylvania. Okay, that's where I'm at.
All right. Go and see Bobby, but you got to earn your way in there.
Yeah.
So think twice about that. What are you hoping for Christmas? One gift. If you could get one gift, what is it?
My La Crusade pot, or whatever that Dutch oven is.
Wow.
That's what I want.
That's a big ticket item.
Dear Santa, that's what I want.
Right. If you can't get that, what would number
My
2
immersion blender.
Immersion blender. All right. Love it. All right. Well, gang, this has been Bobby Rempe, your emergency department nurse at UPMC Presbyterian in Oakland, Pennsylvania. If you get hurt bad enough and you're around the general vicinity, there's a very good chance you might be seeing her if she is on shift. Bobby, appreciate the look into your life, and congratulations on your job and how well it's going so far.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get a follow-up with you later in life. That's Bobby right there. All right, so that gets us to the... Oh, got one more left. So I only did 2 in the first hour instead of the normal 3. This is where we'd be ending it otherwise. Hey, this holiday season, give the gift that will light up every backyard. Big Papa Smokers has everything the barbecue lover in your life needs. From award-winning rubs and sauces to the top-of-the-line grills and smokers, Big Papa Smokers is your flavor foundation with pitmaster favorites like Sweet Money, Little Louie's Seasoned Salt, Cash Cow, Desert Gold, Happy Ending, so many more. You got to try it. It's Bobby with an I, Lance. Plus, for a limited time, use promo code REMPE15 at checkout to get 15% off your entire purchase through December 24th. That's REMPE and then the numerals 15 and get 15% off your entire purchase through December 24th. That's 21 days from now. Exclusions apply. Visit BigPapaSmokers.com for details. Remember, your food just got better with Big Papa Smokers. And remember, code REMPY15 at checkout to get 15% off your entire purchase. Now through December 24th. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back, and we thank Bobby Rempe for joining us last segment, closing out the show, coming out of the bullpen, whatever you want to call it. Giving us a little look inside a emergency department new nurse. Still under training for the next month. A little less than a month. Yeah, about a month. I guess you said January 9th, 10th, something like that. I have a turkey wrap-up for Thanksgiving that I was talking to you about, but it's a little bit more extended than I was going to have time allotted for here as we get to the show. So I will talk about it maybe next week, maybe not. We might see Meathead next week. We might see Robert Moss next week. Austin Dennis next week. Might be a Mike McLeod sighting as well. I got to remember to send some gear his way as I recheck the calendar. All the way back in the first hour tonight, Rachelle Reed from How to BBQ Right, howtobbqright.com was my first hour guest, getting a little origin story on her and Malcolm met, fell in love, came up with How to BBQ Right, what it's been like since. If they see the podcast going on as well, one of my favorites. She said therapy for them. I love it. Second hour, Mike Lang, Another Pint Please. A few small issues with some internet connections. Cramped that a little bit, but we'll work through that. He gets back to do quarterly segments for 2025, and then Bobby Rempe closing out the show, as you just heard. I told you about the show next week, so how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe, saying, Shalom!
Hi, this is Jeff Stone of Grandpa's Pride Barbecue from the Panhandle of Florida, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.